a vibrant village square with cobblestone paths and colourful market stalls. Thatch roof cottages with pastel colours and flower boxes surround the square. A large stone fountain. A group of children runs around near the fountain, laughing and playing. The bright sunlight casts a warm glow over the scene.
At King Theodore, dressed as a common man, stands near a market stall, observing the children.
At Tommy Smith stands to the side of the fountain, barefoot, with a timid expression. He looks down at his feet, away from the other children.
A group of children surrounds at Tommy Smith, teasing him. At Emma Johnson stands at the front, gesturing with her hands while speaking.
At King Theodore, still observing, takes a step forward toward the children, his gaze focused on the group. The children turn to look at King Theodore as he approaches. Their faces show curiosity and surprise. At King Theodore stands before the children, his posture upright but approachable. He gestures gently with his hand as he begins to speak. Emma Johnson looks up at King Theodore, her expression a mix of hesitation and curiosity. First person, POV, from at King Theodore's perspective, looking at the group of children standing in front of him. At Emma Johnson is slightly to the right, with at Tommy Smith standing behind her. At King Theodore kneels on the cobblestone path, gesturing with his hands as he shares a story. The children stand in a semicircle around him, listening. At Caleb Zadel, Decopophoria commands possible light as he gestures, emphasizing his storytelling. The cobblestone path is visible in the background. At Emma Johnson's face as she listens to at King Theodore's story, her expression softens, showing a hint of remorse. At Tommy Smith stands quietly, his gaze fixed on at King Theodore. His expression begins to shift from timid to hopeful. The group of children stands together, listening intently to at King Theodore. Some of them glance at Tommy Smith with thoughtful expressions.
At Emma Johnson steps forward, looking at Tommy Smith. Her posture is slightly hunched, showing humility. At Tommy Smith looks at Emma Johnson, his expression cautious but curious. At Emma Johnson speaks to at Tommy Smith, her hands clasped in front of her. Her expression is apologetic.
At Tommy Smith smiles slightly, his posture relaxing as he stands barefoot on the cobblestones. The children gather around at Tommy Smith, smiling and inviting him to join their game. The fountain splashes gently in the background.
At King Theodore stands up slowly, brushing off his knees. His gaze is warm as he looks at the children. At King Theodore's face as he smiles gently, his eyes reflecting wisdom and kindness.
The children begin playing together, including at Tommy Smith. Laughter fills the air as they run around the square.
At King Theodore stands near the fountain, watching the children play. The sunlight highlights his serene expression.
The fountain in the centre of the square, water splashing gently. Children's laughter echoes in the background. The vibrant village square is shown, filled with cobblestone paths, colourful market stalls, and thatched roof cottages painted in pastel colours, with flower boxes brimming with blooms. Children play near the stone fountain, their laughter echoing in the air. The sun casts a warm glow over the scene, highlighting the cheerful atmosphere.
At King Theodore, seated on a stone bench near the fountain, watches the children play. His posture is upright, and his gaze is thoughtful.
At Emma Johnson and at Tommy Smith stand near the fountain. At Emma Johnson holds a pink ribbon in her hand, looking at Tommy Smith with a remorseful expression. At
King Theodore begins to rise from the stone bench, placing his hands on his knees for support. At King Theodore stands tall near the fountain, his figure illuminated by the sunlight. His royal crown is now visible, glinting in the light. First-person POV looking up at King Theodore from the perspective of the children, his regal presence emphasized by the crown and his confident stance. At King Theodore's crown, intricately designed with jewels that catch the sunlight. At King Theodore addresses the children, his arms slightly extended, palms open. His expression is kind and serious as he begins to speak. The children, including at Emma Johnson and at Tommy Smith, stand together near the fountain, listening intently to at King Theodore. Their expressions are a mix of curiosity and reflection. At Emma Johnson's face as she listens to at King Theodore, her eyes are wide and her lips are slightly parted, showing her attentiveness. At Tommy Smith's face as he listens, His expression softens, and he looks up at King Theodore with a hint of hope. King Theodore gestures towards the children while speaking, his hand resting briefly on the back of the stone bench.
The fountain's water splashes gently, reflecting the sunlight. Bright blooms in the flower boxes add to the serene atmosphere.
King Theodore lowers his arms, his gaze sweeping across the children as he concludes his message.
The children exchange glances, some nodding subtly, their expressions showing understanding and agreement.
Emma Johnson steps closer to Tommy Smith and places a hand on his shoulder. She smiles warmly as Tommy Smith looks up at her, his expression brightening.
The children, now including Tommy Smith, gather together near the fountain. Their postures are relaxed and they smile at each other, a sense of unity evident.
King Theodore watches the children with a content expression, his hands clasped in front of him as he stands near the fountain.
The vibrant village square is shown once more, the cheerful atmosphere intact as the sun continues to cast its warm glow over the scene.